Hello, my name's Carl. This is my backyard. Welcome to Carl's Backyard. It's cold outside. I don't have any plants really growing outside. There are some plants starting to bud. I suppose you can count that sedge is growing. It started growing. Everything else is still kind of chilling out, recovering from winter. It's cold out here. We're going to go inside. We're going to do a plant tour of the plants that I've been accumulating and stockpiling over the winter and have all inside. And the fish tanks are going to be fed, so I'm going to let you go through the fish real quick, and I'll see you back in my office. So here we are now in my office where I do have a pair of Areca Palms, or a pair of clusters of Areca Palms. I think they're doing pretty well. Considering that they're inside and don't get a huge amount of light. This window behind them is it's a north-facing window behind them. So they're really getting light from the other window across the whole house. And over here, we got a pair of Dieffenbachias. There's dumb kings. I picked up on clearance and trying to keep them alive until I can get them outside. And normally the window's open, or the blinds are open. It's closed to cut down the back glare. A pair of Majesty Palms there in the corner. They do get sun through this window here. It's a south-facing window in the living room, and so they do get some sun through that. They also manage to catch a lot of drafts when the door opens, so there's some dead fronds, some dead tips going on there. Dragon tree in a pot there. It came all twisted around itself like that. My wife picked that out to go on that table, so I'm not sure if this one here is going outside. She likes to have it inside, so we'll have to see what happens in the spring with this dragon tree. And here's the tortoise tank, which has some plants in it. I recently, last weekend, did some arranging in it. It's got the cocoa fiber matting on the back and the sides, so that the turtle can't see out and isn't looking at his reflection in the glass. It gives him a nice enclosed, well-defined space to hang out in. Have a golden pothos on a pole. Golden pothos on a pole. There's something or other plant over there in the corner. Let's see if we can go with that. There's a little cactus in there. There's a little dog head because he likes to look in the tortoise tank to see if the tortoise is out or not. He's in his hole. You see, he's hiding right now, buddy. He's hiding. And if we zoom in, you can see a couple plants on the back there. Some viney thing. A couple of succulents. There's two on the back, and there's one here in the middle above the image. There's also a dog with his toy. Because of course we're looking in the tortoise tank, the dog wants to play. And of course the tortoise hide. It's dark, so you probably can't see him, but the tortoise is in there right now. And here we're going to take a look at the plants that I have accumulated and are growing in my office, the little plant shelf as it is. We're going to go through, and I didn't bother to look back up the names of some of these plants, or any of these plants, so hopefully I remember the names. But we'll go ahead and we'll start over here in the corner where I've got a pair of seedlings. The one is a dragon tree. And then I got the baobab tree, which has gone all limp on me. I think it dried out. The soil was really dry when I checked it this morning, so I did give it a good thorough watering. You can see the the soil's all wet. So hopefully that'll stand back up and won't be damaged. You can see back there I've got some of those blue cactuses. I don't remember their name and didn't bother to look it up first. And here you can see I've got my watch chain succulents, and I've got a pair of these spiky guys. Was it corn cob cactus or something like that? I think it's the actual name. I much prefer spiky toothpick club, so that's what I've been calling it. You can see I've got, I can't remember the name of it, and there's a leaf. I've got that stick succulent because, you know, green sticks are cool. And if I can get past this leaf, you can see that the one branch, little new shoot, has some leaves going on it. So that's doing really good, and I'm happy about this. Here we've got the Madagascar Club, little baby Madagascar Club, I think. No, Madagascar Palm, not club. But there it is. The Pachypodium, that word. Over here, tucked in this corner, where it's not getting nearly as much natural light as it would appreciate, I've got my little kind of a pumpkin cactus planter. It's a pumpkin succulent planter. Picked 2 of these at Home Depot basically because I liked the planter. It was right after Halloween, so they had a bunch of orange ones and a bunch of white ones, and then they had 2 that had this speckly color thing going on. And because of the speckly color thing, I decided they didn't look too much like pumpkin, unless I said it looked like a pumpkin. And they did make good planters for succulents. Fortunately, I tend to kill succulents pretty quickly. You can see that one there, dead of course. It's got that guy's doing okay. My aloe reaching desperately for the light. And these 2 here, I can't see if you can see the third one back there. That one died one day rather rapidly. The one in the middle, I saw the leaves started to brown as soon as the other one finished dying. The leaves browned or dried out or whatever died. And then the next day it was completely dead. So now I'm just kind of waiting for this third guy here to decide he's had enough life and die. But I'll eventually get something in these succulent planters that won't die, and we'll see how those go. Over here I got my variegated bird's nest fern. It does have a couple of leaves that have dried out. I'm keeping it moistured, I'm assuming, because it got shipped from, I can't remember if it was Puerto Rico or Hawaii, but one of those 2, and then it got stuck into my office, so you can expect a little bit of transplant shock. You can kind of expect a couple of leaves to dry up and give up the ghost, as it were. In the back there you can see I've got a pot of parlor palms. I picked up 2 planters, transplanted them into this pot last winter, so that's one of the plants that was actually outside last year and got moved inside. Those parlor palms in the back, and they're doing good. They're doing good over the winter. They're in great shape. There's new, I don't know how well you can see it, there's new fronds and they're opening up, so yeah, they're doing great. Here I got a pair of Alocasia polys in these 2 little pots, the square pots. And yeah, that leaf it's all yellowing, and it's currently being held in place by that bamboo stick, just because I wanted to drag out its life as long as I could, let it live in pain, or whatever his plants do as the leaves are dying and you just don't let it. But it does have a bunch of new leaves. Both these Alocasia polys have put out new leaves. That flat one in the back is a new leaf from that one there, and then these 2 leaves are new on this one here. So they're doing good. They're putting out new leaves. There in the back you can see I've got a little, used to be some little moss-like green sedum, which didn't really like where I put it. So it died pretty quickly. I got 2 of those, they both died pretty quickly. It does still have a little spot of green on it there, but I'm not expecting much out of it. And over here in the corner, I've got my Chinese windmill palm, and it is about a year old. I picked it up kind of the beginning of last season, and it was outside all season, and then came in for the winter, and it's just been kind of hanging out and chilling. So that is the top shelf. And here we are with the second shelf. I've got, let me see, I took a little bracket, just hooked it in the edge of the shelf. Got my hanging pot on it. It's got strawberry begonia in it. It's holding its own. Again, this is a plant that I got last year and brought inside, and it's been holding its own. Slowly but surely, it's holding its own all winter. Over here, I've got two different types of crotons growing, or not so much growing as barely hanging on. You can see there's some dead leaves. I have no luck with crotons, so I'm just happy that there's anything still alive there. You can see in the back there's a pair of dead ones. In the very back, let's see if I can get my arm back there. There is a Jeanette Craig, one of those. It's tucked in the back there, so it's not getting nearly as much water or light as it would like. So it's kind of struggling. It's not dead yet. Over there is a pot of dead crotons. And come back forward here. And here we've got this is, I believe, it's a begonia, I know that. I got it from Steve's Leaves, and I believe they were calling it Phantom. So there's a Phantom begonia growing along happily. It's been doing good all winter. Over here I've got the little jewel orchid that I picked up at the orchid show over at the St. Louis, Missouri Botanical Garden, and it's been doing good. It's gotten taller since I bought it, so that's a good thing. Over here I've got these, now I got this glare of light. Over here I've got this green with light yellow veining shamrock. I forget the specific thing. I've got some purple, the purple shamrocks that are all the rage now. I got some last year, planted them outside. Hoping they come back. They should. And there's the plant tag for those. So it's that kind of shamrock. And like I said, I've got some purple ones that I hope come back. If they don't, I did order more bulbs for the purple ones. I've got this green one here I'm going to put in with the purple ones. It's kind of a splash of green amongst all the purple. Back here I've got this ivy that I've absolutely fallen in love with. The edges of the leaves are very light, like a light green, chartreuse, whatever you want to call it, color. I picked this up, and this plant here, it's one that I picked up. I hadn't seen it before. It's from Costa Farms, of course. Hadn't seen it before. I saw it. I grabbed this one, and about a week later I decided I wanted more. In fact, I have a pole that I'm going to set it on and let it grow up a pole so that I'll have a whole big clump of it. But I found it, I bought one, decided I wanted more, and of course I bought the only one that I've ever seen. I haven't seen it before, hadn't seen it since. I picked up one. They probably had a handful there. I only got one. I haven't been able to find it since, so I'm keeping my eye out for more of that. In the very back here I've got, I forget what it is. I've got one of those guys, and I don't see the plant tag still with it, because for some reason I periodically decide I don't want plant tags with the plants. There it is. It's that three-dimensional leaf kind of a thing going on that I decided I really liked, and it was the cheap alternative to some of the begonias that have the cool 3D leaves. See, coming back here, there's a pair of, and this one in the back here just recently lost a big flower, but the Anthurium, I hope I said that right. I hope I'm thinking of the right name. Anthurium, picked it up on clearance. It was half dead. It was sitting in the front spot, so it was in the light. It recovered, had a flower on it. Once the flower started to wither away, I moved it to the back, brought the one that was in the back forward, and here's that one. It's got a tiny flower on it. But those two plants are doing good. Wedged in the middle there, I've got some dragon's tongue. And I've got another dragon's tongue on the lower shelf. And I plan to use that as kind of a filler plant. Once I get things moved outside, I'll put it in a pot with something that grows upright. So it'll be a nice filler plant. And over here in the corner, we've got two different palms. I don't know how well you can see it. In the back, it's another Chinese windmill palm. Again, got it as a seedling last year. It lived outside all summer and has been doing okay in here all winter. And then here next to it, and looking very much like it, that's just never going to work. And here we are on the third shelf. Over here on the side you can see I've got Tasmanian tree fern. I got two of them. There's one in the back that doesn't really have any living fronds at the moment, I don't think. And this one here that does, fortunately, reassuringly have a new frond rolling out. So I know that one's still alive and holding its own. The one in the back I'm not sure about. Again, we'll see what happens in the spring when I move it outside and see if it recuperates. Again, these plants that I got as seedlings last year, and they lived outside until winter when I brought them inside. And they're hanging on still. Right here, trying to steal the spotlight, I have a variegated Fishtail palm. You can see it's got a new leaf unfurling there very, very slowly. But yeah, Fishtail palm. Variegated Fishtail palm, looking really good. Behind it, I've got a maidenhair fern that's holding its own, sitting on what used to be a bromeliad. I picked up a fair number of bromeliads on clearance, partly because I liked the pot, and partly because I learned that after bromeliads flower, they put out pups, and then you can harvest the pups, or you got pups basically, so you can propagate out new bromeliads. And it didn't work out so well for me. I've still got the bromeliad with the pup back there. However, it's not getting enough water or light, being shoved back there. I'm pretty sure it's dead. I know the one over here was dead, so the maiden fern sitting on the spot it used to be in. Here, now trying to steal the spotlight, and I should have looked this one up because I'm not sure if it's an aluminum. It's not an aluminum plant. I believe it's a stainless steel plant. It's what it was named. I got it from Steve's Leaves. I'd have to look up to see what the actual name is, so I might do that in editing. But it's doing great. It's a little unappreciative of getting pushed into the middle of the shelf. It used to be at the edge of the shelf where it was getting more light, and it was growing really good then, and it's just kind of hanging out now that it's in the middle of the shelf. Here I've got another pot of the dragon's tongue. Like I said, I'm going to use that as filler in pots and stuff when things go outside and I'm potting up the bigger plants. Here is a creeping fig, which for various reasons not doing nearly so well. I got two of these at the same time. One's in the tortoise tank, which I expected to dry up and have issues because it's pretty much right under the heat lamp. However, that one's doing fine. This one here was sitting a little bit further over. It was sitting over here on the shelf, which is pretty much, it was catching the mist out of the humidifier and a little less light. So I suspect that was its problem. It was just getting cooked being in the humidifier all the time. It's a warm air or warm mist humidifier, and so it just did a number on that. I think I moved it, made sure it's got water. I'll see if it recuperates. And here I've got a rosy maidenhair fern, which now, because of the humidifier situation, it's kind of in the path of the warm mist as it rises. So it's doing this curved over thing. It does also need watering, I noticed a little bit ago. I haven't watered the plants here yet today. Today's usually the day they get watered. So I'll need to do that here in a little while and get that guy watered. Here I've got the lady slipper orchid I purchased at the orchid show, and it's bloomed. Looking all nice and big, and surprising because, of course, I just bought the cheapest orchid I could find. Didn't really have any idea what it was going to look like or do. But it's done surprisingly well. And over here, for some reason, I still have 2 failed ivies. They were clearance. A lot of the plants I picked up were clearance. The croton, the dead croton from the middle shelf, that was a clearance croton. Or I think they were all clearance plants. So I'm not so sad that they they died. Yeah, I just haven't needed that spot yet, and so I haven't taken those out. Back here, I've got this planter, and this planter I put together last year. It sat kind of in the corner of the stream, and got full shade, and sat in a couple of inches of water not all year, but half the season last year. So the rabbit soot fern is there, and I did, after moving it inside, do some readjusting, so trying to encourage the rabbit foot roots to grow over the edge of the planting, or the pot. There's a bar. There we go. So I'm trying to get the roots to grow out and over the pot, because that's cool, and that's what you do with the rabbit foot ferns. And then in the back, I got some eglionemas, and they're kind of they're holding on, considering they get no light and not nearly as much water as they got when they were sitting directly in the stream. And in the very far back, I don't know how well you can see it, but there is I picked it up, it was called the tiger's fern. I've also seen it called the blonde fern. It's basically I don't want to say yellow, but it's a light green version of a Boston fern. And I think that covers everything here on the bottom shelf. Yeah. Under the shelves, even though it's technically not under the shelves, is the very bottom shelf. I left a little bit of space for the seed starting tray to slide in under. And so there you see I got the one seed starting tray, and there I've got a little light. So there's some light down there for the seeds. Second seed starting tray under that. There's a couple of seed or sprouts there. I pulled them out this weekend and see what's going on with the seed trays, and maybe pull out some of the shoots that have started. And in here I've got, it's a tropical water lily. It's a very small tropical water lily right now. You also see I got some fish in there swimming around. They are white clouds. There's 4 or 5 white clouds and a betta fish in there. And I'm not sure how many white clouds. I think I put 5 in, but I've only ever been able to count 4 at a time. It doesn't really mean anything. They got plenty of places to hide. And you can see that last time I poured water in to top this off, I got kind of sloppy, poured it right into the substrate, or right onto the substrate. Washed a bunch of substrate up onto the handle of the basket that the tropical water lily is in. Tropical water lily I got last year, not a huge performer. I'm hanging on to it. I'm going to try and put it somewhere where it gets more light, hopefully less fish nibbling on it this year. And over here, you can't really see it because it's blocked, but that is that the red bog lily? I think that is the red bog lily. It's not red right now, obviously, probably because it's not getting enough light. That one's red. So it had red leaves, and then these 2, I don't know if they're new and just haven't turned red yet, or if they're just not getting enough light, or what the deal is. That plant, in fact, all the other aquatic plants that I have inside here, I actually got for free 2 seasons ago. It was the end of the season. I was at the pond store picking something else up, and all their plants were out back on some shelves, completely dried out, and most of them dead. And so I went in and asked him what the deal was on the ones that weren't completely dead yet, hoping they'd be on clearance. He said I could go ahead and have them, because it was the end of the season. He was just going to be throwing them away at the end of the week. So I got a handful of free plants. 2 seasons ago, last season, sitting in the pond, they didn't really do much. Some of them grew a good deal more, but they didn't flower at all. There's that one there, red bog lily. I'm not sure what these big ones here are. the little leaf, the thin leaf ones there. There's some more stuck in the back where they're getting way too much shade. But yeah, little guy there is rain lilies, and I'm not sure what the big fat ones are. As they were on clearance, I don't remember if they even had tags at the time when I picked them up. But those are the aquatic plants. I do use this water when I water the plants. I pull the water out of here. Is that the betta fish? Nope, that's just glare of the light. But yeah, I do pull the water out of here to feed the plants with, and then I just top this back up when I'm done pulling water out of it. And like I said, you can see there sometimes I top it off sloppily and just pour the water right in on a bunch of small substrate pieces and wash it all over the place. You can see I do have a heater, just a little beta tank heater. I have no idea what, if any good, it's actually doing in there, because it's just a beta tank heater. There's no temperature control or anything like that on it. And an air stone. I got an air stone in both of these just to keep the water from going stale. And they just sit in there and bubble away. And we back up a little bit here. You can see there I've got some begonia rex and a little ant trap and a bunch of cactuses. My local Walmart has these little 1-inch cactuses marked down to $1 each. I picked a handful up when I was redoing the tortoise tank, just to see what I could put in there and have not die. I don't have a lot of luck with succulents, so I figured I'd go ahead. And I'm actually surprised that one there is the kind that usually dies right away for me, and it's still actually doing pretty good. So I've got a handful of succulents. This plant here has got new shoot, new leaf. Get past that water bottle. It's got a new leaf. It's going to be its second new leaf since I got it probably beginning of winter. It's a purple anthurium, and I actually got two. The person who I got it from included a second one because it didn't have any blooms, any flowering going on. This one doesn't either. That's the new leaf. It's already getting kind of chewed up from fungus gnats, plus it's sitting right next to the heater. Yeah, it's right next to the heater. So it's not doing so hot, but it's alive and still growing and putting up a new leaf. And here's another leaf. That's one of the original leaves. And the second one I got, that she threw in just for good luck, I guess, is there and hasn't done much since I've had it, except its leaf. There we go. Its leaf is slowly wilting or dying away. I've already cut off the dead sections once. There's just a little bit of green left on there, but it's still alive. It's still photosynthesizing, so I still have hopes that it might start sprouting new leaves, or that something cool is going on under the soil with the roots and the rhizomes and all that. Here you can see I've got a little leaf. Move that guy. Little leaf there. Started from seed. Not sure what it was because I didn't mark the seeds when I got them. I didn't mark the pots when I planted up the seeds, rather. It's either a bird of paradise or it's a ginger. I'm not sure which, and I'll find out later, hopefully. Excuse the water bottles. You keep seeing on Pinterest and various places people who use water bottles. They make like mini greenhouses, start seeds in them, little planters, stuff like that. And for some reason at one point I decided, hey, that's a cool idea, and I go through a lot of water bottles. So I just started piling them up here, and now I've got a giant pile of water bottles and a thing of orchid bark. This is the kind of just shove stuff corner. Here we've got some Phetonias. Actually, we've been watching these like all winter, planning on all year, planning to get some in the spring when I could put them straight outside and use them as a filler plant in pots and whatnot. But then I saw, and the wife and I decided we like the white ones, we like the dark red ones. I know the pink ones are out there, and polka dot plants are very similar to them. We don't really like those. We like the dark red and we like the white. And then I was at the store the other day, and they had, these are combo pots. So you got one pot, and it's got 2 reds and 2 whites going on. And so I picked up a handful of those, because I was like, ooh. And there you see my dish, the dirt mug, is holding that plant, which I want to say is a chrysanthemum. Because it is. It's a pink star chrysanthemum. And it's been doing fine, just buried, tucked in the corner there. I don't think I've watered it since I got it. But yeah, it's in my dish, the dirt mug, hanging out from Kaylee Ellen's Rare Plant Shop. Here I've got some, well, orchid moss. Here, because this is the corner where I just kind of shove stuff. Which is ironic, because so is the other half of my office. But yeah, here's some crotons I got. Clearance at Walmart. They were a good deal, and I was figuring, you know what, if I buy bigger crotons, maybe they'll be able to withstand my neglect a bit better. And so far, these are doing good. The dog runs in. They're right here on the path out of my office, and so the dog hits them all the time, which is why they're all leafed in that direction, and no leaves like on that branch there. It's because the dog's, you know, comes in and runs up against them, and goes to turn around and whacks into them. But yeah, these crotons here are actually doing pretty good. You can see my humidifier hanging out in the background. Humidifier is a lifesaver for these plants. It's not on right now today, but I run it every day. Run the humidity in this room up to about 50 or so, and then I kick it onto low for a couple of more hours, and then I turn it off because it gets hot and muggy, because it is a warm mist humidifier, not a cool mist humidifier. But it runs the heat up a little bit in the area, runs the humidity up in the area, and ever since I started doing that, the plants are doing much better. And a couple of plants that I forgot, as they're sitting on the bookshelf next to the plant shelf, so they're still catching some light from the grow lights. Here's the second succulent plant I got, and again you can see I kill succulents pretty quickly. Those two died almost instantly. I replaced whatever had died here with this I forgot the name, tiger tooth, tiger jaw, something along those lines. Replaced with that. Here you can see the aloe, which is reaching because it's not getting as much light as it wants, and there's that doodad hanging out in the back there. So that's the second succulent plant. I picked them both up, as I said before, because they've got this really cool bowl, and I was like, oh, that'll be neat to plant stuff in. And just basically left the succulents that were in there, or replaced them when they died enough. Down here on the ground I have, that's kangaroo paw fern. It's not looking so hot. It actually sits kind of sideways on the shelf, so the soil's facing outward, which makes watering it a lot of fun. I usually pull it down, give it a good thorough soaking. You can see how it's dry. I don't know if you can see because it's all dark. But yeah, the soil's really dry right now. It's going to get watered today, if not today, tomorrow. I give it a good soaking, let it drain out, and hang out until it stops dripping, and then stick it back on the shelf, because it sits sideways, and you can see that what is normally the top of the plant definitely looks dried out, whereas it's got all this good green fresh growth going on down here on this side of the pot, because that's the side that faces down. And over here, recently picked up a bird's nest fern to go along with my variegated bird's nest fern. Here I have one of my tropical hibiscus. And if you look, this one branch here, this branch, center branch, still has some decent leaves on them. All the leaves looked like that until about a week and a half ago, and then the plant realized, hey, it's almost springtime to die. It's sitting in a fairly shady spot. It doesn't get a lot of direct light, not a lot of bright light for sure. And I've only watered it a couple times and given it a splash or two. I think I went too long the last time giving it that splash of water. You can see how dry the soil is. Here, there is my red banana. And I can't remember. It's Enset Morelli. I think, but it's been a minute, so I'm not sure if that's the right one or not. I cut this, and you can kind of see where I cut it down to. It was outside last year. I cut it down to there. But here's the plants I pulled over from that corner of the room. You can see I've made these 3 planter boxes here with the poles in them, and the vining plants to grow up them. We'll do the bromeliad first. There's a bromeliad. There's my shoe. Nope, that's the edge of my desk chair. So I got that bromeliad there. It's a really cool white one. Looks like it needs some water. It probably needs to be in better light. Other side of the room is only getting the ambient light from the grow lights, so it's not really quality light. A little bit of light from the window, but they're probably 4 or 5 feet away from the window, and it is, of course, a small north-facing window. So the plants over there aren't getting a huge amount of light. And so there's that. But here you can see I've got this grow pole. You can see I've got what looks like golden marble pothos, although it shouldn't be. It should be the marble queen. On the other side, and you can see some of the leaves are still upside down from when I replanted it up against the pole. But I got marble queen pothos running around the back. Should be marble queen pothos on this side here, and I'm kind of running under the assumption right now, just because of the light situation, that that's still marble queen, just the wrong color, because it certainly does look like golden pothos, although it does have the marbly, like that leaf there has more marbled queen look to it. So I'm assuming it's just light, because all that pothos came out of the same basket of marbled queen. So I'm assuming it's all really marble queen and just hadn't had a single stick of golden pothos in there that I hadn't noticed. There's some Cebu blue pothos growing up in the middle. I mixed the 2 types of pothos to grow up the pole. Those leaves should get bigger, of course, as it grows and matures. They were 2 little seedlings, because at the time that was all the Cebu blue I could find online anywhere, and I couldn't find any locally at all. Over here we've got some of, it's called the what is it, silvery Ann. Sometimes called a pothos, not really pothos. It's a Syndactis, something like that. I don't know. Devil's ivy is all I could find online. I can't remember the name, the scientific name of it, but it's often called referred to as a pothos. Silvery Ann is the type, and you can see I've unpotted it and repotted it here in this larger pot up and around the pole, and it's like 2 days ago I did that, so it's still kind of trying to sort itself out and recover and get all the leaves pointing back up in the right direction. And over here in the 3rd planter with the pole is that yellow rippled ivy. Yellow rippled golden. Probably yellow rippled ivy. If it's going to focus, it's not going to focus. It's not going to focus. Oh well. Yellow rippled ivy. I did find some more of it, and got it, and planted it all up in this planter around the pole. And here in the next week or so, I've got thread. I'm going to go ahead and start tying it, or threading it, looping it up against the pole, so that it'll grow up the poles. And these are big, hefty poles, because they're going to wind up outside in the hopefully not too distant future. And let me go real quick here. Slide this over. There. Oh, sorry, last plant there. I can get a shot of its trunks. So just Cedrusina marginata. I picked up on clearance. I think you saw the clearance tag on it. And I think that is all the plants here in my office. And so those are the plants in my office and in the other rooms that are all awake and growing, with the exception of the red banana and a hibiscus that I hope is just dormant. Got some more plants in storage up in the attic. Went dormant, put dormant, hopefully went dormant over the winter up in the attic. We'll pull them out here in a couple of weeks, start moving plants outside, start getting outside tropical gardens set up and running, hopefully, with luck. But that's the tour. If you like the tour, if you want to see me transform my backyard this summer, go ahead, and spring and summer, go ahead, like, subscribe, leave a comment on the video, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time.